back up and talk about where we've been so far in terms of looking for a definition of happiness. The question we begin with, that we carry over from Plato, in some sense, it's also the question that animates Socrates. What is happiness, or what is flourishing, or what is human excellence? And let's come at it in a different direction by specifying that it should be a certain sort of life. It should be life lived in a certain sort of way. We can call this the good life. We still haven't defined it yet, but we're at least saying happiness and flourishing is not going to be a momentary emotion. It's not going to be something that happens to us once in our youth and that sort of carries with us forever. It's going to be being a certain kind of person, having a certain kind of character, we might say, or engaging in a certain kind of action over the course of a full lifetime. So we can already distinguish this kind of ethical concern and this kind of moral psychology from a type that would focus almost exclusively on decisions about specific individual actions. Individual actions are still important, but the sense in which in modern ethics we might talk about making the right choice, doing the right thing at a particular place in time is only going to make sense on this way of inquiring if we're thinking about it as taking place as a particular decision in a full lifetime of decisions that are suitably informed and directed. So again, the idea that we're judging a lifetime, a way of life, a sort of style of being, rather than individual decision-making or the getting it right, getting it wrong on a small scale. Looking at something bigger. We can consider, would it be the life of pleasure? This is the answer that attracts the masses who are attracted to pleasure. Aristotle rejects this because it is too animalistic, it's not specifically human, doesn't make use of our higher faculties. So it's not that. A type of life that's devoted to the pursuit of sensual pleasure, of physical pleasure, is not going to be full human excellence. A slightly more sophisticated answer, maybe it's the life of honor, the life of politics. We might also say the life of exceptional performance in public, earning public praise. One could do that by being a politician or a warrior or an athletic competitor. There is a genuine excellence there. Somebody could be excellent in any one of those fields and might receive and deserve praise, but we saw some reasons for rejecting that as well. It depends too much upon the people who give it rather than the people who receive it. So it seems like it can be taken away if people change their minds through no fault of yours. You might still deserve praise but not receive it. And it also seems like ultimately people want to be praised for something important. And so whatever that something important is, they want to be praised for their virtue. It seems like virtue is more important. Jump ahead to Aristotle's answer. Aristotle says it's the life of virtuous activity, of acting virtuously over time. And there are specific virtues. His emphasis upon activity distinguishes him a little bit from Plato, whom he thinks is too focused on the knowledge part of virtue, just sort of acquiring it and then having it. He says it's not just a matter of having it, it's a matter of using it, putting it into effect in your life. So we get Aristotle's answer is this is a life of virtuous activity. We discover that this life of virtuous activity involves pleasures and pains. It involves training the desires and the appetites and the emotions, so that we feel and want what a good person ought to feel and to want. We've talked about the feedback loop between virtuous activity and virtuous character. This is the sense in which we both build a virtue and we realize and actualize that virtue, act out that virtue by practice. And by practicing a virtue the same way as we do by practicing a physical feat, we eventually develop habits. And it's these habits of virtue, call them that are the ultimate thing that get us to the good life. We would expect the good life then over time is a matter of building good virtuous habits over time and then acting them out, practicing them over the course of a lifetime, coming to the end of your life, having lived a life of virtuous activity. For Aristotle, there's the answer. That's the objectively best life of which a human being is capable. If we're held short of that, or we fall short of it from lack of resources, or from being born into slavery, or taken into a foreign country in our youth, or maybe being miseducated so that our desires are profoundly twisted and we spend most of the rest of our life trying to recover from the damage that's been done to us. In that case, we simply fail to live up to the fullness of which all humans are potential. But we do the best we can with what we've got.